Hey guys, how's it going? It's Douglas here at Drowned Boy Cosplay, and today I'll be bringing you a recent score of mine that has some interesting history to it, and I want to talk a little bit about that. But first things first, I'm going to go ahead and open it up. Alright guys, so here we have it packaged exceptionally well, which is always a good thing, because with these kinds of masks, people don't always package them very well. So what we have here is a very, very nice Generation 1 Fantastic Faces. Again, I'll go ahead and open it up. Packaged very, very well. Wow. Got a little bit misshapen from being in the bag, but other than that, this mask is gorgeous. Wow, I can... Okay, well, actually, funny enough, I can still feel part of the tag on the inside. This mask is beautiful. There's barely anything wrong with it, if anything at all. It's not dirty. It's clean white. The shapes of the eyes are good. The material is actually the worst kind of fabric that Fantastics can have. It's very prone to ripping and tearing, and yet there's no rips or tears in it. Everything looks to be good condition. No problems. Now here's what's special about this mask. A friend of mine happened to find this for me on the Facebook Marketplace, and we tried to obtain it, and instead it ended up going up on eBay and going between a lot of bidders. Some very, very high name bidders ended up bidding on it, raising the prices ridiculously high. It went up to, like, I think a little over 700 at one point. Like 749, something along those lines. Went very, very high. When I first found this mask, I wanted it not just because it's a very, very nice Generation 1 Fantastics, because, I mean, who wouldn't want this? I don't think there's any of you out there who are watching this video who care about Scream or Ghostface or even old vintage masks at all who wouldn't just want this mask. We found it for a very, very cheap price, and we're going to get it. And instead, it ended up getting bid up insanely high. And then for one reason or another, some of those people ended up retracting their bids. And I had bid it up to what I was willing to pay for it, not because of the mask itself necessarily, but more so because of the story behind it. With a lot of these older masks, I value them not just intrinsically based on I can sell this for this much or whatever. I value them because of the story they hold, because the vibe they give off. All this stuff reminds me of, like, super, 90s Halloween hunting, and a lot of this reminds me of super early 90s, like, trick-or-treating, and even on into, like, whenever I was a kid, some of this stuff I've seen around when I was a kid. I didn't really own much, but, like, Ghostface masks, and then I think I had a couple of Fun World pieces here and there, but it was all, like, later Fearsome line stuff, nothing too old, like Fantastics or anything like that. And I put a lot of value in this kind of stuff, and what I do is I don't just collect the mint condition stuff. If there's a story behind it, I tend to collect a lot of the lesser condition pieces, pieces that may have cuts, tears, etc., marker on them, stuff like that. Simply because I love the story behind it, or especially if it has a story attached to it. I love those masks. This particular mask was kept for over 20 years. This came from the original owner, and she had it. I don't think anyone ever wore it, really. She never specified, but we talked a good bit because she's a very, very nice lady. And this was kept outside, mostly. Funny enough, as clean as it is, and no problems with it, and she said she didn't clean it. This is just how it was. No yellowing to it. This is white, stark white. Very, very nice mask. Very good shape, very good condition. And it was mostly kept outside on, like, a mannequin to be like a scarecrow kind of thing during Halloween. She used to do her own home haunting, decorating her yard, decorating the inside of her house, letting neighborhood kids come in and, do trick-or-treat stuff and stuff like that. And I can relate to that. I grew up around that. My aunt and uncle used to have basically a similar thing. They would be the only house to decorate in the whole block and would really, really go out of their way to decorate really nicely inside of the house. Same thing, have like a party, neighborhood kids could come over and stuff like that. I grew up around that kind of thing. So this really resonated and hit home with me, so it was very important for me to get this mask. And again, not because the intrinsic value of it, because it is a very, very nice mask and a very expensive mask. I paid a very pretty penny for it. I didn't get this cheap at all. But it's worth it to me. It's very much so worth it to me because the story attached to it. I have pictures of where she had it in her yard, and I'll put them on screen. I also want to introduce to you a couple of my favorites from my collection. As you guys can see, I have tagged Fantastics, lots of mint condition Fantastics, really, really nice shaped masks. Some of these masks come and go, for one reason or another. They come and go. Stuff like this doesn't leave. Stuff like these two I'm about to show you won't leave. So here we have a couple other examples of Fantastics with back history and story from them. As you can see, this mask was kept very, very good care of. She said her kids didn't mess with it much. It was respected and taken care of, and it shows in the mask, especially with the age. Now with these masks, quite a different story. This is one I've had for much, much longer. I've actually had this guy, I think, the longest out of any of the Fantastics that I currently possess. I haven't gotten rid of him, whereas some have come and gone. He hasn't gone anywhere. And I don't really want to. This mask also came from the original owner for, I think, close to 25 years, if not longer. He bought it back, I think he said, before Scream came out. A lot of people do say that, but this is something I'm willing to believe because the mask wasn't treated very well. The actual mask itself and the shroud's in perfect condition. No rips, tears, still has flat streamers, which is very, very rare. Usually they tend to roll up a bit like this or even more extreme. But the shroud's in perfect condition. The face itself, not too bad, but very yellowed. Dude was a heavy smoker, didn't really take care of it. I think it had fake blood on it at some point. The eyes, they cut out the eye mesh in certain places so they could see out of it better. And I picked it up anyway. It's rough condition. Probably couldn't sell this for much at all if I were to sell it. But the story behind it makes it have value to me. I care about this mask a lot. This is very, very cool. Same for this one. These are some masks that will never leave my possession unless for some reason I have to sell everything, period, and leave the community. And then lastly is one I've gotten more recently. This arrived just a few days ago. So I looked on eBay, saw a lot of masks, and I saw this really, really interesting looking Scream mask that had a lot of character, stood out to me. Checked it out, it's a Gen 1 Fantastic. It would fit the collection here. It's been painted with some kind of weird pattern. It's not Sharpie, it looks like it's either a oil-based paint or like even nail polish maybe, because it's very thick and opaque. The mouth has been cut. They've removed all of the eye mesh in general. It's been ripped out. And then what's more interesting is they shredded the streamers here to give it an even spookier vibe. So I thought this was just really cool. This one has, I think, the most character out of all three as far as just being really weird. I don't know a lot of the story behind this one, but I know it came from the original owner. I didn't pay a lot for it, so I'm very happy about that. And it's just so strange. But this, to me, invokes the feeling of old Halloween. The old mint condition masks, sure. I'm a collector. I love mint condition. I really do. To find something that's in great condition, awesome. But this kind of stuff is just super nostalgic. I've had quite a few Fantastics come through, have the mouths cut out and stuff like that, for either for people to breathe better, or even to eat candy while they're trick-or-treating, etc., whatever. It's very typical of people to drill holes in the nose or cut out the nose in general so they can smell a little bit better, or probably breathe rather than smell, but But yeah, I just thought this would be a quick, fun video for you guys to share. So what's the reason you guys collect masks? Do you like to have the nice pieces to show off? Do you like the mint condition stuff? Do you even like the older stuff with character? If you have a mask in your collection that's like this, that has a story behind it, please feel free to share in the comments section, whether it be on Facebook or on YouTube. especially on YouTube. You know, that would be fine. I know we won't be able to see the mask, but just describe it. Tell us a little bit about the backstory if you just take a minute to write it out, because I love hearing about this kind of stuff. But anyways, guys, forever and always, have a fantastic day. I love you all. Thanks for watching. Bye.